What's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMGWTFLOLFTWBRB, and welcome to Suprocker Sunday. If you are unfamiliar with what Suprocker Sunday is, well, it is one of the days of the week that I choose to really play any game that I want, such as the new series we started just a couple weeks ago, the arcade playthroughs of Injustice: God Among Us. Last time around we played as Batman, and I decided that each week we'll go back and forth between good and evil. So this time around I have decided to play as Deathstroke. Now, a reoccurring theme I like to do in these arcade playthroughs, whether it would be, Injustice or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Street Fighter, any kind of game with some fighting mode in it to go along. What was I saying? Oh, I'm sorry. I had a text message from a friend, and I was reading it. But anyway, a recurring thing I like to do in these arcade playthroughs of really any arcade game is give you information on the character I win as. So since we're winning as Deathstroke, let me give you information on him. But first, I would like to acknowledge that I understand that I'm not amazingly fantastic at these games. I just want you guys to know, if you were expecting amazing combos and all this other stuff, you came to the wrong place. I'm just doing a casual playthrough of this arcade game, and yeah, I'm not as good as I wish I was. Anyway, Deathstroke the Terminator, Slade Wilson, known originally simply as the Terminator, is a fictional comic book supervillain and sometimes anti-hero who appears in books published by DC Comics. The character was created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. He is a mercenary and assassin who first appeared in the Noon Titans Volume 1, Number 2 in 1980. I apologize for that brief pause. I had to sneeze. Wizard Magazine rated him the 84th greatest villain of all time and the 72nd greatest comic book character of all time. Also in 2009, Deathstroke was ranked as IGN's 32nd greatest comic book villain of all time. Deathstroke the Terminator first appeared in 1980 in the second issue of the book New Teen Titans. He was originally introduced as the Terminator, a mercenary who was completing the terms of a contract undertaken by his son, Ravager, but he quickly became one of the main antagonists for the Titans. Deathstroke quickly became a fan favorite character and later in the series often allied with the Titans against mutual threats. Due to his popularity, Deathstroke received his own series, Deathstroke the Terminator, in 1991. It was retitled Deathstroke the Hunted for issue number 0 and 41 and 45, and then simply Deathstrokes for issues 46 through 60. Oh, by the way, Deathstroke the Hunted was 41 through 45, not 41 and 45, but my mistake. The series was canceled with issue number 60. In total, Deathstroke ran for 65 issues, number 1 through 60, plus 4 annuals and a special number 0 issue. Following his injury in DC Universe Last Will and Testament, Deathstroke appears in one of 4 Faces of Evil one-shots written by David Hine. Hine has explained that the series is part of a setup for future stories. All the characters in this Faces of Evil series were selected for their potential as major players in the coming years. Even though the character of Deathstroke the Terminator predates James Cameron's Phil the Terminator by 4 years, the Slade Wilson character is now simply called Deathstroke, even by characters who have called him the Terminator for years. The full title has not completely fallen out of use, having been referenced as recently as Justice League Elite. Slade Wilson was 16 years old when he first enlisted in the United States Army, having lied about his age. After serving a stint in Korea, he was later assigned to Camp Washington, where he had been promoted to the rank of Major. In the early 1960s, he met Captain Adeline Kane, who was tasked with training young soldiers in new fighting techniques in anticipation of brewing troubles taking place in Vietnam. Kane was amazed at how skilled Slade was and how quickly he adapted to modern conventions of warfare. She immediately fell in love with him and realized that he was without a doubt the most able-bodied combatant she had ever encountered. She offered to privately train Slade in guerrilla warfare. In less than a year, Slade mastered every fighting form presented to him and was soon promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel 6 months later. Wait, Lieutenant Colonel. Okay, never mind. Period. 6 months later, Adeline and he were married and she became pregnant with their first child. The war in Vietnam began to escalate and Slade was shipped overseas. In the war, His unit massacred a village which sickened him. He was also rescued by SAS member Wintergreen, to whom he would later return the favor. Chosen for a secret experiment, the Army imbued him with the enhanced physical powers in an attempt to create metahuman super soldiers for the US military. Deathstroke became a mercenary soon after the experiment, when he defied orders and rescued his friend Wintergreen, sent on a mission by a commanding officer with a grudge. However, Slade kept his career secret from his family, even though his wife was an expert military combat instructor. Indeed, she had been responsible for a significant portion of his early training. A criminal named the Jackal took his younger son Joseph Wilson hostage to force Slade to divulge the name of a client who hired him for an assassin. Slade refused, claiming it was against his personal honor code. He attacked and killed the kidnappers at the rendezvous. Unfortunately, Joseph's throat was slashed by one of the criminals before Slade could prevent it, destroying Joseph's vocal cords and rendering him mute. After taking Joseph to the hospital, his wife Adeline Wilson, enraged at his endangerment of her son, tried to kill Slade by shooting him, but only managed to destroy his right eye. Afterward, his confidence in his physical abilities were such that he made no secret of his impaired vision, marked by his mask, which has a black featureless half covering his lost eye. Without his mask, Slade wears an eye patch. Deathstroke possesses various enhanced abilities, stating to be almost superhuman, according to DC bios and comic bios. These include the strength of 10 men and heightened speed, agility, stamina, and reflexes. He has the capacity to use up to 90% of his brain at any one time, making him a tactical genius, adept at turning opponents' own abilities against them. This can also be attributed to his years in the military and combat with various heroes. Deathstroke also possesses a healing factor in his blood that enables him to heal from physical injury much faster than a normal person. However, it does have limitations, as he could not heal his missing eye and cannot regenerate entire limbs. This enables him to recover from what would otherwise be fatal injuries, though recovering from such injuries renders him insane and animalistic for a short period. That kind of sounds like Wolverine a lot, but whatever. Deathstroke is also a very formidable opponent in hand-to-hand combat, capable of defeating both Batman and Nightwing. During the Infinity Crisis storyline, it took the combined efforts of Batman, Nightwing, and Robin, Tim Drake, to beat him. Green Arrow Volume 4, number 66, claims that an assassin known as Nadas taught Deathstroke almost everything he knows. A retcon of his origin in the new Teen Titans, Judy's Contract, where his future wife Adeline Kane trained him while he was in the military. Deathstroke is also skilled in the use of many weapons, including guns, rifles, and swords, which are usually among his current weapon of choices. His signature weapons is a power staff that fires lethal and non-lethal energy blasts from both ends. The staff can also be used to strike using energy at each end. His body armor is composed of mesh-woven Kylar chainlink mail, capable of stopping small firearms. Most of the metal he wears and uses a promethium. However, in the new 52, he wears a full suit composed of this metal armor. This armor allows him to absorb blows in some of the mightiest DC beings.
Contract pending. Contract fulfilled.
Sorry about that brief silence. I was answering a question from my mother. Anyway, this armor allows him to absorb blows from some of the mightiest DC beings, as evidenced by it being able to absorb numerous blows from Lobo. Deathstroke also has enhanced reflexes, which is how he was able to blast apart Impulse's kneecap with a shotgun while he stopped for a split second and impaled the Flash while he was running at super speed. It should be noted that the DC clearly defines Slade as a metahuman in issue number 1 of the New 52 series, which places him beyond human and even peak human. Next up, we're going to be going over all the voice actors who have done his voices in various TV series, video games, all that. So, without further ado, in Teen Titans, which was in 2003, Ron Perlman did the voice for Deathstroke, which in my opinion is the best person to voice Deathstroke. In Young Justice in 2010, Wentworth Miller and Fred Tatasciore did the voice for Deathstroke. In the Robot Chicken DC comic special in 2013, there is really no listed voice actor. He's actually only been in one movie, surprisingly, and that's actually Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox, which was released in 2013. And once again, Ron Perlman, like I said, my opinion, the best voice for Deathstroke, you know, did the voice. In video games, the Teen Titans, the video game which was released in 2005, Ron Perlman does the voice for him once again. And then in Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe in 2009, Patrick Setz does the voice. In DC Universe Online, which was released in 2011, Tracy W. Bush does the voice. And of course, in Injustice: God Among Us in 2013, J.G. Hertzler does the voice for Deathstroke. And also, in the new Teen Titans shorts, Ron Perlman also does the voice. So I don't really know who Ron Perlman is. I think Ron Perlman. Like, I always thought Ron Perlman was the guy from that car show. I don't know what the hell it was called. The American Choppers or something like that. I could be wrong, but he has that look for the face. I don't know if I'm right. I'll probably look it up later. Either way, though, unfortunately, I don't have as much information on Deathstroke like I did with someone, say, like Batman. And that's going to be the hard thing about doing these Injustice one, is because the fights are a lot longer, and it's also going to take a lot more, you know, it's going to be a lengthier video, because instead of it being, you know, fast-paced like something like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is, or Super Smash Bros. Style, like, you know, Cartoon Network Punch-Out Explosion was, it's gonna be straight 1v1 and all that. So it's gonna be, these videos are gonna be a little bit longer, and some characters I'm gonna be able to give a lot of information on, like someone most likely like the Joker or Superman or anything like that. So I don't know, it's just gonna be like, it's gonna be hard, because, you know, someone like Deathstroke, for instance, even though he's like a well-known villain in the DC universe, from what I found, he really didn't have like a whole lot of information, and I'm not gonna read every little single bit of information by him on that Wikipedia page. I'm only gonna, when I make these lists, I usually choose only like the really important stuff, like their publication history, their origins, their powers, stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit harder with some of these characters. Like, I can guarantee, like someone like Nightwing or Cyborg. Well, actually, with Nightwing, I might actually I might give you information on both Damian Wayne and
Contract fulfilled.
Dick.
Retrieving next target.
I don't know. When I get to that moment, I will. Fun fact about Deathstroke, though, is Deadpool, of course, you know, everyone's favorite merc with a mouth, Marvel's anti-hero, or version of Deadpool. Deadpool's actually a play on Deathstroke, which is why they look so similar in the costume department, which is why they're very similar in hand-to-hand stuff like that, and you know, which is why Deathstroke's name is Slade Wilson and Deadpool's name is Wade Wilson. And the reason why I believe I read this, and I want to say it's 100%, but I don't want to at the same time, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be wrong or not. But it's like, I'm pretty positive, like, I read somewhere that the guy who created Deathstroke was the same guy who created Deadpool. And the reason why he created Deadpool was because DC, you know, fired him, let him go, and he wanted to get his revenge, per se. So he created a character very similar to Deathstroke. I could be wrong, like I said, but yeah. I'm not going to talk about Deadpool, though. I only talked really about him because him and Deathstroke are so similar, and I needed something else to talk about. And well, these are longer videos. So I guess what I can do now is give my personal opinion on the character of Deathstroke and him being in this game. So I'll start off with my opinion of him being in this game. I like the idea of Deathstroke in the game. I just recently started following a lot of DC stuff. I mean, I've always been more of a Marvel fan than a DC person. But okay. But it's just like I just recently. By the way, why did she do that? It's just like I've never really been big DC, so I never really knew that much. But you know, I like Deathstroke. He's you know that assassin-y guy, and he's just badass. You know, he's like I have a character in my comic books I write. His name is Bounty Hunter, which he's basically my Deadpool, my Deathstroke, and he's more like Deathstroke if anything, except he's actually a good guy. He only kills people who kill, and so I don't know. Hey, excuse me. I didn't get the idea from Bounty Hunter from Deathstroke or Deadpool. Actually, I got it from a movie with Keira Knightley in it. I think it was actually called Bounty Hunters. I'm not entirely sure though. First time I ever saw Deathstroke though was actually in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, and because that's why, and the reason why I say that, actually, if you want to be technical, the first time I ever saw Deathstroke would actually be in Teen Titans, but I didn't know that was Deathstroke until Mortal Kombat vs. DC universe, and the reason why is because in the Teen Titans show they called him Slade, so I figured, you know, oh, that's just Slade. And then when I played Mortal Kombat vs. DC, I was like, he looks a lot like Slade. Later to find out that Slade and Deathstroke are the same. But it seems like Deathstroke's getting like really up there in popularity now. Like he's like the main guy anymore. Like kind of like yesterday I uploaded Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and it was a Doctor Doom playthrough. And now that I think about it, him and Doctor Doom have a very similar uprising. Like, they were both like not like really big villains before, and now they're like both like huge. Like, Deathstroke, in my opinion, is now at the level of someone like the Joker or Lex Luthor now, because he's just that high up there, and I like him. I think he's a good addition to this game. I think there would have been a lot missing if he wasn't in this game, because he's just so huge in the DC universe anymore that it's kind of a crime not to put him in the game. That's like not putting Joker in the game, you know? If they need a villain, Deathstroke's the villain. And my personal opinion on the character as an individual, again, I like Deathstroke. I love the whole assassin-y feel to him. Like, it's like, you know, oh, nothing personal. I just, I need to make pay. I like that. It's neat. It's a good storyline purpose. By the way, again, just like the previous one with Batman, I did cut out all of my deaths. I only died once to Sinestro, once to Batman. I can't even tell you how many times I died to Superman, though. Oh my god. Superman is just ridiculous, but the reason why I cut out the deaths in these games is mainly due to the fact that before I cut out all those deaths, this was a 30-minute video, and it's just like, there's no point in keeping those in there if I'm just, you know, it's just delaying the inevitable, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, I have no shame in my deaths. If I did, I wouldn't mention how many times I died and just act like, you know, I beat everybody on my first try. Now it's just, I have no shame in them. It's just, I die too many times, especially to Superman. Like, once I get to like the final 3 people, and then I get to, like, it goes like, you know, say it'd be like Cyborg, Batman, and Deathstroke, then Superman. Once I get to like those final 3, I seem to have problems. Even though I didn't die to my third person, my first person this time, I died to Sinestro and Batman, but I just seem to always have problems with him, especially Superman, because Superman's just, well, he's a dickhead. But whatever. Deathstroke will also appear in the upcoming game Arkham Origins. I didn't mention that in my my thing. I don't know who's the voice actor for him. And from the website I saw, it didn't have anybody. But Yeah. By the way, this is Deathstroke's finisher. I know we saw it earlier, but I just wanted to comment on it now.
Contract pending.
And I like his outro too. His outro's all like, huh. Fulfilled that contract.
Target.
And who's my next target? You know, simple as that. I like it. It's touchy. It's classy. Grade A class right there. And now we take on the Super Dick. Yeah, I really couldn't tell you how many times I died to him. I actually thought about doing a sped up version on all my deaths to Superman, but it ended up still being around like 30 something minutes, and I was like, that's stupid. I can just take that out. There's no point. I don't know what it. I can't beat him on my first try. I don't think I ever have. Then again, that's how it always has been with Mortal Kombat games to me, because when I've played like classic Mortal Kombat or even current gen, it's just I always have problems with that last person like Shao Kahn or Shang Tsung or even Goro. Goro gave me problems, and he wasn't even the last person. So you know, I've always had problems with those guys. Galactus, not a problem. Onslaught from Marvel vs. Capcom 1, not a problem. NetherRealm Studios, they know how to really irritate me. By the way, this is how you Deathstroke. This is how Deathstroke's actually commonly used. He's used just as a long-range character, it seems like. Like, from what I've seen on the online portion, most people that play Deathstroke, or most people are just going to stand back and shoot as much as they can. And sometimes they can get away with it, sometimes they can't. I, on the other hand, even though would like to shoot, I'm kind of like Maximilian, where the point where it's like, even though I could easily just keep doing that over and over again, it's not fun to me. And by the way, even though I'm beating Superman, I'm never confident. I'm only confident when I finally see him down. Because there's been times where I've had Superman low as possible, and he'll just come back and beat me up. One of the fights I actually had with Superman, I had him like right here. Oh no, see right there, I was really mad. I was like, I have him now. But there's a fight with Superman where I was like on my last bar, and I got him down all the way to his last one. Like we both really had like a couple hits left. Actually, I only had one hit left. He had a couple, and he just got one little punch to my kneecap, and I was like, "Oh, you kidding me?" But we finally beat Superman by shooting him right in the skull, and now have fun in the null zone. Null zone. I think that's what it's called. Null zone, negative zone. Look at Superman's dumb face. Enjoy Deathstroke's ending.
With Superman's regime toppled, new governments formed to take its place. New governments meant new customers for Deathstroke, and business was booming. Soon there were more assassinations to carry out, revolutions to aid, and unrest to create than he could manage on his own. The One Earth regime's elite troopers, having committed atrocities in Superman's name, had gone into hiding from a populace bent on revenge. Impossible for most to find, but not for Deathstroke. Recruiting these renegades, he formed the New Titans, the world's premier political assassins.
Well, Deathstroke has an interesting ending there. It really fits his character. You know, yeah, I beat Superman, I saved the world, but guess what? I'm gonna assassinate all your other political people. Basically, I can actually explain his very well. I couldn't explain Batman's because it confused the hell out of me. But Deathstroke's is pretty cool, you know. Of course, with Superman's death, or not death, because he doesn't die, but Superman being defeated, there's gonna be new governments rising up and all that, because Superman was the government, and with, you know, government officials, you know, like the president, like the kings, like all of them, there's always going to be someone out there who wants their head on a platter. Deathstroke, of course, being that man who can provide the head and the platter. But of course, with so many new governments rising up, Deathstroke cannot do it all by himself, so he found Superman's old allies, and since they're already, you know, hated and all that, why not? But other than that, nerds and geeks, I do hope you have enjoyed this Injustice Arcade playthrough. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment, a like, and please subscribe if you have not already. And as always, my name has been OMG, WTF, LOL, FTWBRB. and I will see you nerds and geeks next week when we continue on with these arcade playthroughs and we go to a hero. So until then, have a wonderful day.